Newcastle are getting ready to break their transfer record for a defender after they agreed a deal worth £35 million for Lille's Sven Botman. The Dutchman has been Eddie Howe's #1 defensive transfer target this window. Newcastle had an approach turned down for Botman in January. The player is expected to travel to Tyneside for a medical next week to finalise personal terms and complete the deal. OK, let's get more on these transfers then and speak to our European football expert, Andy Brassell. Andy, very good morning to you. Let's talk about the imminent arrival at Newcastle, first of all. Sven Botman, they've wanted him for a while. Just how highly rated is he?
Very highly rated, and they stuck with him for a reason. Of course, they were in for Diego Carlos, going back to January, of course, of Sevilla, who's now ended up elsewhere in the Premier League, as we know. But it's interesting because Newcastle have clearly got a very clear vision. Diego Carlos was someone who they wanted, who they thought they would impact the team straight away. And now they've moved on and they're in a better place. And I think they're looking for someone a bit younger, which is why they've stuck with Botman, whereas Diego Carlos would have been an expensive deal. He's 29 now. They're looking to build for the future, and I think you look at him, you look at Bruno Guimaraes, but Botman has had a couple of really good and really different seasons, actually, at Lille, because of course he came across from being trained at Ajax, had a good season at Heerenveen in the Eredivisie. And I think he's a very modern sort of defender. So if we're talking about gradually changing the way that Newcastle play, he's not someone who dives in on tackles or anything like that. You look at him and you think he's really fearsome, 6'4" sort of central defender, but he's from Ajax. So he's super cultured, comfortable on the ball, doesn't give it away much. That's something that Newcastle are trying to change as well. And given that he had that first season where they won the title in France and a lot more difficult second season after Christophe Galtier, who's just about to join PSG as coach, left, I think we've seen him in two very different lights and he's been able to cope with both.
Yeah, super cultured centre-back. Then they're still pursuing Ugo Ekitike as well to add to their striking options, though progress there appears to have stalled. What type of striker is he?
He's one that's very rare at the moment, and it's interesting because if you hear about how he's spoken about in the French media, Ekitike, a lot of French football fans don't know a lot about him because he's been playing for Reims, who are historically a very big club as well, but not for very many years now. But what I particularly love about Ekitike, not just the versatility, because he's a big guy, he can hold it up, he's good in the air, but he's got great touch, he's super quick as well. So he's very, very adaptable potentially, and he's a big game player as well. I think you look at the crucial goals he scored for Reims last season in games away at Lyon and Marseille. He's someone who rises to the occasion, and I think people look at him and think there are not a lot of genuine centre forwards about at the moment, and he could be one of the better centre forwards in Europe if we project forward like 2 or 3 years, if he follows the sort of path he's on at the moment. I think he could contribute immediately, but also he could contribute, I think, even more in the long term. I guess the thing is, his agents and the people around him are very aware of that. So Newcastle have been the ones who've come through with the firmest offer. They've got a plan for him, and he feels a lot more relaxed about that plan now. They're not struggling at the bottom of the table, of course, and they had a really good second half of the season, which I think would impress anyone. But I think the people around him see him at a Dortmund or at a bigger club than that, or a consistently more successful club than that. So Newcastle might still get it done, but I don't think there's a unanimous feeling in his entourage that it's the club that he should be at.